Yes, people, welcome to another Chelsea live stream. It's been quite a while. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Please comment if you can hear me. I'm at work, of course. I decided to do a stream earlier than usual because of the guy right here. He's been asking me to do a stream. I thought, you know what? You're in a different country, not in Canada. Let's get it sorted. Let's get it sorted. So, we're going to be discussing all things Chelsea. He'll be coming on the camera very shortly. But let me know where you're tuning in from, what time zone, and let us know your thoughts on Caicedo to Chelsea, people. It is depressing right now. It is very, very depressing, the situation so far. We're going to get into it. Thank you, Alfred, the only person that's actually listening to what I'm asking. Thanks for confirming that you guys can hear me. Let me know your thoughts on Caicedo to Chelsea situation. Comment down below, people. Big up everyone that's tuning in. Like the video as always. Work hours, yes, Wayne Rhodes. Work hours indeed, my friends. I think Poch just done his press conference as well. We'll get into that. I think Keppra is doing the second part, but a lot of fans worried about this Caicedo deal. Mr. Father, are you worried about this Caicedo deal? I am worried about this Caicedo deal. We're hearing 60 million rejected last week. Now we're hearing 70 million rejected this week. We are still playing the long game. And yes, Wesley Fofana, we'll get into that as well, George. George, I usually do a video. You know me, I do videos every single day. But today, Feroz wanted to stream. So I wanted to interact with the fans, of course. But keep liking the video. I feel sorry for Fofana, man, as well at the same time. It's a depressing time. He has deactivated social media because of the backlash against himself. And I don't blame him for doing that. But we've spent so much money. I genuinely feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for the kid, man. I'm a lot older than him. What's the actual status on Caicedo? Very, very good question, my friend. So, right now, 60 million base fee with add-ons rejected last week. Now, in the last couple of days, Chelsea gave 70 million base fee, no add-ons, rejected probably a few days ago. Then I done a video yesterday that a verbal bid will be given of 80 million pounds. This is not 80 million base fee. This is like 75 plus 5 million add-ons, whatever it is, basically. But this is verbal. This is not going to be an official bid. They want to see if Brighton is going to be accepting this. However, we've also had more news today. Actually, let's introduce Feroz. Welcome, Feroz.
Hello, Sadiq. Hello, everyone. How's it going? First of all, I just want to correct you for saying that you said that I'm not in Canada. Actually, I flew to Canada, which is why we're doing the stream. So really appreciate you taking some time off your day to fixing your timetable because of the time difference and stuff. But a lot has happened, and I appreciate you doing this live stream, with me because it's been a long time.
Yes, the amount of things I do for you, and you can't repay me with any gifts or anything. But it is what it is, people. Guys, like the video, man. Like the video.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. I just want to say very quickly, people saying old news, or the guy asked me what's the situation. I've gone from the beginning to where we are now. We're expecting another bid coming in very soon. But we did have Jacob Steinberg also saying that it could go up to 100 million with bonuses included, or around 80 million base fee. They are looking at the Declan Rice type of deal for us. That's what we're hearing right now.
No, I mean, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. It makes sense and it doesn't make sense. It's both. It's a tricky situation because the market is so inflated right now. When you get the likes of Declan Rice, who I have always rated, go for that amount of money. Mudryk, Anthony, these are crazy sums of money. It's fascinating because I was sort of having a debate with some people 2 days ago in person, and we were saying, who knows, maybe in the future we might see a player go for 500 million, right? Just the way the market is, it's absurd. It is what it is. We are desperate for someone to partner up with Enzo, obviously after the whole Ugarte situation. And I guess we did want both Ugarte and Caicedo. And obviously, with all these players being super limited, whether it's a world-class striker or someone as young as Caicedo and has potential, the the roof is like crazy for him. Let's just get it done. I think it'll be done. These are just formalities. It's just dragging on. It's frustrating because obviously we would want him for preseason as soon as possible, but it's not the worst case scenario that he will be going to the US with Brighton itself. So, it is what it is. I think it's just a matter of time.
Well, don't you feel like it's very, very frustrating? This whole saga, how long it's taken. I mean, it
Yeah,
reminds
I
me of
mean,
Enzo Fernandez.
yeah, I can see the perspective. Obviously, clubs getting done business early really helps out, like, players and clubs itself. Like Arsenal, obviously, they did that business very early. United as well, like with Mount and stuff, they wanted him before preseason. I think it matters, but at the same time, we can't get too greedy, and hopefully he's a Chelsea player sooner rather than later. It's just a matter of formality with us. I feel like we all know this, and I'm just slightly worried about other situations. Obviously, we will get onto that later. But for the Caicedo thing, I'm not worried at all. We should be
At all.
good.
You're not worried at all.
No. I'll be super surprised. Well, not just me. I feel like the majority of people in the chat as well will be super surprised if this falls through. I get it. People have a lot of like paranoia with the past, but when we get linked to a player for a long time, by a long time I mean like ages and ages, and everyone goes like announce this player, whether it's like obviously Enzo Fernandez, or you can even talk about Bakayoko, for instance. We were linked with them for a long time, especially Bakayoko. Just
Mm.
waited and dragged on, and then it was just like a formality, right? I think that's that situation. Brighton know they can get more money from us. Chelsea are also being slightly hesitant, going like, no, we will not be bullied, but let's just meet in the middle, which is what happened in Mount, right? Like Mount thing was dragging on for a long time because of the fees. Everyone knew it would be around that, but United didn't want to bite. Chelsea also didn't want to like sell for less. That's what's going to happen. Plus, clubs know we are desperate right now.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Hmm.
Um, Wayne in the comments is too funny, man. PD, fly to America, do a live broadcast, beat the London podcast. Listen, I
Oh
don't have any
God.
hate against anyone. But I do want to fly to America one day for sure, and hopefully we can
Come,
all
come, come,
meet
come,
up.
come through, bro. Come through. We can watch the game together,
Bro, you can't afford America.
bro. I live in America.
You live in Canada.
I don't live in. I live in California, which is in America. I'm visiting Canada right now that I'm flying out. I live in America, bro. Oh my days. I mean, I am Canadian, but obviously I'm also gonna be American soon.
Well, there we have it, folks. It's so strange how almost every club takes Chelsea for granted by being so expensive on their players, yet they take Chelsea players so cheaply. Is this a conspiracy here too?
Italian clubs, Italian clubs, Italian
What, Lukaku?
clubs. No, I'm saying in general, right? Pulisic. I feel like we could have gotten more for Pulisic. I feel like we could have gotten more for Ruben. We could have gotten more for Giroud. We could have gotten more for we could have gotten more for like a lot of these players who went to Italy. It's just that like at times, especially this summer, people know we are desperate to sell, so like teams can lowball us, and we're just genuinely nice, Mount wants to go to United. I mean, sorry, the narrative of like us selling Mount to United. Here you go. The narrative of us selling Mata to United. Here you go. If Rooney wants to go to Chelsea, United will be like, nope, we're not doing that. We're just too nice of a club to do deals with other like teams. I feel like Arsenal warned that a few years ago, but we did that with Czech as well, and it's just tricky. I feel like we were much more ruthless in terms of no, nope, no means no. No matter how nice you are, even though you want to focus on your career, no means no. We should not sell to a rival club or sell for cheap abroad.
Well, I think Feroz has definitely explained that very, very well. Everyone that's tuned in, man, keep liking the video, keep subscribing. Liwa Cole, people. Not Liwa Cole, sorry. What am I talking about? Wesley Fofana, injured. ACL Feroz. He has
Mm-hmm.
deactivated social media.
Yeah.
I don't really blame him for that, of course, with the backlash that he's been getting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very, very difficult time,
Mm.
especially we want. Look, we didn't want to sign more defenders, but do we need a defender now?
You know, in an ideal world, in hindsight, people are gonna get pretty upset probably at me for saying this, but I feel like maybe letting Koulibaly go was not the best move right now, right? In hindsight. Um, Obviously there are links with Mr. Harry Maguire, which
You're a big fan of him.
yeah, of course, you know, United's former captain, really good player. Who knows? We can probably restart his career.
Are you
Obviously,
are you
obviously,
joking? Are you trolling?
obviously, I I am trolling.
I was gonna say.
Um, I am trolling regarding us getting him and all that, but I would not be surprised if we go for him as like how do I say this? As like a last resort if we cannot get like a young upcoming defender. Thankfully, Colwell, this benefits him heavily. As awful as that sounds, you know, for Wes, it just sucks the amount of injuries we've had the past few years. Obviously, him especially, but just the club in general. It just sucks, and the type of injury he has, it's brutal. You know, Chile, Reese, like it just goes on and on. And I'm just slightly gutted because obviously even Baricelli might miss start of the season, and then now you have this. And remember when we signed Baricelli and he was doing really well, everyone was saying, "Oh, Chelsea's like defenders, like the two like at the back, they're like France's like backline." And I was like, really excited about that upcoming. And now this happens. It's just brutal. Plus, it happening right before the season starts is just
Mm.
the worst thing. If it would have happened a month or two ago, it would have sort of made this better. But it happening now, even though he could possibly miss the entire season, which is like the worst. Well, how do you feel about the situation? Do you think we should not panic and be patient and assess how Colwell is, assess the situation with Chalova, and see if there are better options, or just go like, nope, we need to get someone as soon as possible, like Kimpembe, and just go straight up?
Look, I think we've already made our choices by selling Koulibaly what it needs to be. We want less defenders. So who have we got? We've got Silva, got Colwell. Badiashile, who's come back from injury. He's not back, is he? I think he's still injured.
He's injured.
And Chalaba. So only 4 defenders, right? And then he might play Cucurella as an emergency.
I don't know
So
about that.
I know, but look, everyone's slating him off already. Everyone's slating off Cucurella, but we've got to
No,
give
no,
it a
no. I
second.
just think, personally, for me, I don't think he can play as a center back in a back four. That's just me. Um, who knows? What do I know? I thought Lukaku would score 40 goals for us. Stay focused, man. Come on. Bring the energy up.
There's no other actual defender targets though. Harry Maguire isn't serious. There's no links with any other defender that I can think of right
Yeah,
now.
sorry to cut you off, but I mean the ACL thing just happened right now, right? Just happened right now. So
What are you trying to say? He's going to open up.
yeah. I mean that's what Fabrizio and everyone's saying, right? Like now, like they're gonna look at options. Pochettino's gonna assess the situation. Um, I myself don't know like what to do if I was Poch. Thankfully, I'm not, but I would have such a big headache because obviously Cole wants minutes. He will get minutes, like a lot of them now it seems. And then, like I don't want a situation where I guess within a month or two of the season starting and we are like really bad at the back and we go like, oh no, like we should have just gotten a really, really good defender. But at the
Mm.
same time, I also don't want a situation where last season when we had a lot of players injured, we signed a lot of players, and then when everything went back in terms of the players recovering and our new signings being there, it was a disaster, right? Like there was a lot of unhappy players and stuff. I feel like balance is key. But like, what's your take on Chalobah though? Do you think we should keep him and just like not sell him, especially after what's happening right now, or do you think it should not be linked?
Oh, we definitely cannot sell him right now. And no matter how bad he is, he's a
Yeah.
player. Well, no, I'm not saying he's bad. Sorry. No matter how people think he's bad, rephrase that very, very clearly. Um, he plays in multiple positions that can help us out with depth. I'm not saying that he should be a first choice player, but he definitely helps out in emergencies, whether it's a right back, whether it's a centre back, whether he needs to play in front of the defence, whatever it is. I think Chalobah is a player that can step in, and I feel like we need
Mm.
someone like that because we've seen links about a loan. The loan don't make sense whatsoever. There's no issue with him. If we're gonna sell him, we've got to get the right amount of money. So I think he needs to stay. What do you make of Chalobah yourself?
Yeah, no, I think I don't know, I just slightly fixed my mic. Is it better first of all, or is it the same?
It's a lot better, but we can't see your ugly face.
No, I mean, I think the thing with Chalobah is sort of tricky because obviously he would want a lot of minutes. I think he is going to be sold because he's probably seeing all his friends sort of like go abroad and be more successful or get minutes to start out of the clubs or at Chelsea itself. So I think in terms of that, it's gonna be probably us being super nice, going like, you know what, fair enough, you can leave, and then we would probably assess some young defenders, and if we can get someone for cheap, nice. Otherwise, like the nightmare might come true for you. I'm
Oh
just
my
saying,
days.
bro. I'm just saying, what, what should we do, right? It's really weird.
When does
I'm
preseason
just
start?
glad tomorrow.
What, first game?
Yeah,
You're capping. First game.
tomorrow, bro. Yeah, against Wrexham. It's tomorrow.
Oh my days. Your boys at work, fam. That's an L. Can't lie, that's an L people.
You're in walking, L, bro.
Yeah. Um yeah, that's an L people. I don't know how I'm gonna see that. What time's the game? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Guys, what time's the game, man, in the UK, man? Let me know, because obviously it's in the US, so it's probably gonna be late in our time. Thursday morning, early doors.
Oh
What?
yeah, because you guys. Oh yeah, you guys are ahead, right? Yeah, makes sense.
12:30
GG's,
a.m. on a Thursday.
GG's, GG's, GG's in the chat, boys.
Oh my days. I'm
I
gonna
am
be
so
awake for that.
happy. I am so happy. Like that's making me smile.
That's some L people. That's some L timing. I might
That's
have to
making
miss
me
that.
smile so hard right now
Why?
because I have to get up at times for 4:30 in the morning for games. Now you experience this, bro. Enjoy.
No, I've done way worse than that, bro. I've done 2 a.m., 4 a.m. last season. It's fine. It's on the work now, unfortunately. But wait, Cucurella or Moises Caicedo. I think he wants to come here. I've read it in the media lots of times. I have a good relationship with him. He's a good midfielder. And if he comes, I think we'll have a top midfielder for a long time.
Oh no! Oh no!
Why are you saying oh no?
No, I mean like Brighton will not like this one. uh, yeah, I mean obviously he's gonna say what he's gonna say, just like what um Enzo did. Was it Enzo or Thiago? Some like a few players regarding obviously Lautaro Martinez as well. Oh no, Martinez, Dybala. I just think generally like it's just a matter of time, right?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Wow, wow.
I just don't think it's gonna happen, people. The more it drags
Also,
on,
by the way, I know there's like a lot of time left for the transfer window to end, but like they're thankfully, when you made the bold prediction of us winning the league next season, and I clipped it like 50 times. I have it saved everywhere. I backed it up. I just wanted to see a reaction for the team that flew out to the US, and if you think that team is capable of winning the league, my friend.
listen,
um,
I did say with you and Andrew that
I have it
they need
clipped. I have.
yeah, but make sure you don't do out of context. Make sure you get the full context because I did say We do need 2 signings alongside Caicedo. I did say that.
I don't know, bro. All I know is he said 5 times, "We're gonna win the league. We're gonna win the league. Remember this."
But there's context. There's context. I said we need a striker as well. How can we win the league without a striker? I don't understand.
Bro, you're forgetting Lukaku.
He's back.
Yo,
Romelu Lukaku
I saw
is back.
the first tweet I saw, because you woke me up. The first tweet I saw was, "One thing we can do is mold Lukaku into a center back," and I was so confused. And then I saw like the whole situation with Fofana's injury.
Bro, no one wants Lukaku. Do you know how much fans hate this guy? Do you see the Inter statement? Do you see Juve statement?
What's Hashim saying?
Froze, you're ahead of schedule Mount. Do you have any behind scene news?
What's this Mount thing? I'm so confused.
So he's basically saying that he had all the wrong information about Mount. Do you have any information to say that?
No, I find it. You know what's crazy, right? Like United is playing preseason in a few days in New York, right? And I was thinking of going for that, but like not as a United fan, obviously, just to like go to New York because it's so close to Toronto. And I kept saying, imagine if I would have met up with Mount and stuff. People would have given me so much stick. But regarding Caicedo,
you were wrong about, by the way.
Yeah, I was so wrong that Fabrizio himself said he made a mistake, right? Sure, I was wrong.
No, I have to put out there. He was wrong on Mount. So
how was I wrong on Mount? How? Like
because his dad come out in public saying we're finally home. They've always wanted to move.
No.
And he done it for his dad. He done it, and that's not a problem.
I'm not even saying. I'm not even saying that. He just looked and he smiled. What is he gonna say when the MUTV cameras are there? No, Dad, no, bro. For his unveiling, imagine Sadiq. Imagine this happens. We sign Saka. Saka in his first interview says, "By the way, it was clear Arsenal didn't want to keep me. That's why I came." And that's what Mount said for his first MUTV interview, which is ridiculous, right? Like, but why are we talking about Mason anymore? I don't get it. It is what it is. We moved.
So people like you know people on the payroll. That's why.
Can I also bring up one last thing? The funniest thing out of this, the whole thing about him doing his farewell video 1 week, 2 weeks before, the fact that he did it on the day he had medical should say it all. He had his medical. When he had his medical, he had Manchester United posted this. I can send it to you on Twitter right now. When he had his medical, he had blonde hair.
I want proof.
Okay, I'll show you right now. I
want proof. Here. And whilst you do that, can you come on camera? Because you told me 10-15 minutes.
Hold on. Everyone relax.
Guys, whilst he brings it up, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification. Feroz is a fraud yet again. He let me down with Haaland news. He's now let me down with Mason Mount news. But I'm glad I saw through it. I'm glad that I didn't back Mason Mount like him and his
Check this out. Check this out. Check your Twitter right now. This is the day he had his medical, and this is when he was at the United headquarters right here. Look. There you go. It was so funny, bro. Like
that's fake.
Like it's not, bro. It's from the official United page, and it's Mount's official thing. It's not fake. Trust me. Bro, you're talking to someone who had this hair color, man. It's very easy to. But let's stop talking about United players. Whatever. He's an enemy now. It is what it is. We move. Who do you think right now, if I tell you, are the most realistic signings for us? Like, who do you see us?
None.
No. By the end of the season, who do you think will join Chelsea? Name the players you think. I'm not saying name the players you want. Name the players you think will join.
Just Caicedo.
That's it?
Bro, there's no one else. Be honest. Have you seen anything in the public?
I'm just saying
Be honest, bro. Be honest. Just be honest.
You don't think we're gonna get another defender now? You don't think we're gonna get another defender?
Bro, I've not heard anything. And you know me and you, we get news quick.
But it's not about hearing, it's about logic as well. Like, you don't think we're gonna get anyone else, really? Wow. I am
Why do we need to? Realistically, why do we need to? We play one game a week. Why do we need to?
Because if there's one more injury, it's finished for us. If there's one more injury at the back or midfield, let's say hypothetically Enzo gets injured. Or let's say hypothetically Thiago Silva gets injured. I shouldn't be saying these things. That's like I shouldn't be putting these things in the universe. But I don't want another situation where we are doing really well, our key players get injured, and then finished, right?
I think
Do you see any hope for Felix, us getting Felix at the end? Because you said that. I remember you said that. Like you said, you're gonna change your mind and get him. No.
what has the media done to this boy, man?
No, you yourself said that, right? You're like maybe
I'm not
you
saying. I'm
said,
not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying what
but
has the media done to my
going
boy?
by your words, you said if Chelsea Football Club do not sign a striker, then what we will do is we don't have Felix in our plans. What we will do is go like, okay, you know what? Forget this. Let's just go back to the drawing board and get Felix. But I guess you could say Jackson is the guy, right? He's going to be the main guy.
It did say that we need to get a proper number 10. So
Yeah, that's what confused me today.
yeah. So how would it be if we play Jackson up front or we play
Then
Nkunku up front?
Nkuku, yeah, and I
Who's
don't
playing
know, man.
behind?
Nkuku,
Because
Nkuku.
yeah, but it doesn't sound like they're gonna play him as a number 10.
Where will we play him? Modric is going to play on the left. On the right, it's going to be uh, Nani and Raheem, I guess, or I don't know.
It's a weird situation if you deep it properly. It's a weird situation
I
because
still, I'm still gonna be the most optimistic delusion person, and I'm gonna stick by what I made, like the bold prediction I made. Um, I'm gonna stick by that.
which is
I know, but this is no logic. This is just me being optimistic, like us getting like Neymar or Osimhen or something like
oh
a.
come on, man.
No, here's the thing. I don't mean to sound I don't mean to sound like, oh, we're gonna get them, blah blah blah. I just think the club, and I'm not saying it's the best idea to get them, right? But I just think the club is gonna get very desperate because of the lack of signings and lack of superstars or whatever. Go like, you know what? Let's just do something chaotic and crazy. Because obviously, like in terms of all the number of signings we've had this season, it's just been kids, right? So I think
But it goes
without
against the
the
project, though. It goes against the plans of the future of the club.
not really, because it's one of those situations where, let's say, um, I think we are gonna target besides Caicedo, we're gonna target several defenders that we won't get. Then we might just get an average defender or whatever, and then we might try to go for Lavia. That might not work, and then towards the end we might look for a wild card, right? Could be Neymar, could be Dybala, Osimhen. Just get the wild card in because we need. It pains me to say this, right? Obviously, like there was backlash on Twitter yesterday
Can,
regarding our
can we
team
talk about that? Just a summary of that.
of what happened yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, this is tricky for me because I know this person really well. So someone posted who works for the club, like, oh wow, so this is a team that's traveling. And in her defense, like a few players are injured, a few players are like, still set to join and stuff. So a
Yeah.
lot of things are
Yeah.
there. But it's fine. She has her opinion. People have their opinions. And when you take bias aside, I feel like even you were just laughing 20 minutes ago and I said, bro, you think this team is going to win the league? It's a very, very promising / average looking team because of like us not even having Badiashile there or now Fofana, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Reece, like Reece's name wasn't even on the. I don't know. Was it on the list? I don't know. It was, but it wasn't. Like in the main poster it was, but in the other one it wasn't. So it looks bang average that team to win the league, right? I just think it's one of those things. She had an opinion, and like there was a lot of backlash. Like, how dare you say this about my club? Which is why I think we're gonna get desperate and get like a big name, right? Whether I agree with that signing or not, I think the club is gonna do that.
But why
It's
did
not
she get hate? I don't understand. What did she do wrong? That's what I don't understand.
because it seems like the players she's gonna be working with or whatever, like it's not a good look. Like the youngsters that,
Oh, right. Okay,
yeah.
okay, cool,
But
cool, cool,
but
cool.
but I can definitely see her perspective. She had to like obviously lock her account, not lock her account, make it private. And I've spoken to her. It's just one of those
But
things where
this is
people have
what
to
I hate
deal
though.
with.
This is what I hate. We say people are biased because they work with them. And now
Yeah,
someone has given a general opinion. We're going against them.
bro, bro. Like even like, I shouldn't go back. Like I'll sort of go back to this topic. Whole situation with Mount. All I'm gonna say is people who worked with the club also were saying whatever they wanted to say, not being worried or scared about like backing the club in that situation. Everything is situational. People should be obviously supportive of their club. We joke around here and there, but at the same time, we should not be too biased and call a spade, right? I just think it's I was really optimistic. I still am with Pochettino with the team, but all these players getting injured one by one and us not getting like more signings. It's not just Caicedo. I want more. Like United got Mount. Okay, they want more. Arsenal got Kai. They wanted more. They got Rice. Like we need to sort of like finally get things done. It's high time.
But how much do you want them to spend? They spend a lot of money.
Caicedo, bro. Here's the thing. Every Premier League team is spending 100 million right now, bro. For like players, like whatever. They like United. Bro, just think about this. They got Mason Mount. They're gonna get that Højlund guy or however you pronounce it. They got yeah, and then they're getting Onana as well, right?
What's the name?
Yeah, so they got Onana too. It's funny. We wanted Onana, like another topic, our goalkeeping situation. Like
We were told he's expensive and they're getting him for like what, under 50 million?
I'm just really upset and angry at this, man. Like we are. It's really weird, man. It's really weird, the situation. When we sold Kai, when we sold Mount, we thought we would get like decent replacements. I get it, our squad is big or was big, but we really need to be careful right now. You know?
Yeah. No, definitely, man. Welcome my co-host, Mr. Matt. The reason why I brought him on today, people, is because the guy under me said he'll be on camera after
Oh
10
my
minutes.
days.
It's been 33 minutes, people. So
Oh
I had
my
to I
days.
had to change the game. So I brought on my co-host today, Mr. Matt.
Oh
How are you
man.
feeling?
I'm not too bad. It's been a bit of a shit day with Chelsea news, obviously with Fofana effectively being out potentially for the season, but it's how we move. Chelsea just we're always dealt bad hands, so we're used to taking bad news now.
That's right. Give us some positivity on Caicedo. We've had some negativity. Give me some positivity about the signing. If we
It will happen, so I think people still need to stop panicking.
it will happen like Haaland, or will it happen like Lukaku?
It's gonna happen. It's not like it's not a Haaland situation where it's a completely and utterly ridiculous fee. I just think Chelsea are trying to get the best price possible. This is something where Caicedo does want to come to the club, does want to leave Brighton. There is no concrete competitor. I know people keep flirting Liverpool, but Liverpool are looking at other options. They've already signed a couple of midfielders already. Arsenal have just spent 200 million, which Arsenal don't usually do, and haven't sold anyone of any big significance to recoup that money back so far. And have not had any official dealings with Brighton yet. If we're finding it hard to deal with Brighton, they're going to find it just as hard, bar Liverpool, who already have a good relationship. So I think we just need to stop panicking and realise that this player will come in. It's a big deal with tough negotiators, and it's going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah, well, how much longer until you say, we're taking too long, Matt?
I don't know. Well, we've still got 6-7 weeks of the window, so.
But we want him. We want him in that pre-season tour right now. We want him with the team right now.
Yeah, I mean, it would be ideal to have him for the pre-season tour, but I would throw it back to you of how many other clubs have done as many deals as Chelsea have done in a window this early, ingoings and outgoings. Man United haven't had to throw so many people out the club. Arsenal haven't had to throw so many people out the club.
Well,
Declan Rice was only confirmed at the weekend, and Arsenal haven't really had much else to do.
we can't keep saying that, Matt. Though
What do you mean we can't keep saying that?
we can't keep just saying we've had sales. This sales stuff was happening towards the end of June. We had to raise as much as possible at the end of June. We are now hitting the third week of July. You know, Caicedo. I'm not saying Caicedo should be wrapped this second, but we should have some type of agreement right now. I think it's taken too long. He's agreed personal terms back in May. We're going back and forth on this, man. I think it is a bad look.
Yes, but this is where I look at, and it's not all Chelsea fans, but a big proportion of Chelsea fans. On one side, we moan that we're paying too much for players and we're just paying ridiculous fees, getting completely done in the market. And then on the other hand, moaning that the club are taking too long on deals because they want to get a fair price. You can't have both. It's going to be a mixture of in between. Chelsea are trying to get the best deal they can in a deal where at the moment there is not a threat of it being hijacked. It's Brighton are resigned to Caicedo leaving at some point. So the deal for Brighton has to get done. It's just they want as much money as they can, and that's their prerogative to try and bring as much money into it. I think it's just a thing. It's taken a bit of time, but we've just got to be calm that it's going to happen. And then once we've done the Caicedo deal, I think other deals, such as if Shirky comes, if we don't go and look for a centre back now, or if we decide to go for another striker, I don't think these deals are going to be as complicated as Caicedo. So they should run theoretically smoother. And it does also help that Caicedo is literally in, I know America's still a big country, but is on the same side of America. We play them, I think, is it this weekend or next weekend?
I think it's next weekend. I could be wrong.
Yeah. So he is in the area. So it's not like he's having to fly across the world to do deals. I imagine Chelsea and Brighton are doing deals in America right there, right then. And so it's the same as Caicedo. Caicedo seems to be starting to really come out now and trying to push Brighton along. So there is Chelsea haggling Brighton. There is Caicedo also haggling Brighton. So I think eventually Brighton will have to back down and compromise, as will Chelsea. And it will be probably in the region of 80, 85. But we've got to look at it and go, well, yeah, we're happy that it's good that the club are trying to work in an economical bracket, because we can't just keep spending 100 million on every single player. Otherwise, say Lyon, for example, they'll go, we want 55 million for Shirky, and we're not gonna compromise on that, because look, when you did the deal with Caicedo, you didn't compromise. So why should you compromise with us? And that gives us again another poor negotiating tactic, and that's the problem with Brighton. We already spent 62 million on Cucurella, and that's why it's made it a little bit harder with the Caicedo, because they know last season Chelsea were spending a lot, were not necessarily negotiating deals well enough and trying to speed through loads of deals and try and get them done. Whereas now we're taking our time because we know this is a relatively safe transfer. I think if Liverpool or Arsenal were truly involved in this race, Chelsea would be working a bit more faster and maybe looking to compromise a lot more because there's a bit of pressure. But because there's no pressure, they're going to just take their time. Yes, Caicedo doesn't have a couple of weeks of pre-season with the club, but it doesn't mean that he's going to definitely fail. It just means might take a bit more time just to get used to it. But Caicedo is a very good player. He already plays in a system that is not completely dissimilar to what's going to be at Chelsea. It's not like he's going from a back three formation to a back four formation. It's completely different, a counter-attacking to a possession. They're two possession-based teams, slightly different tactics, slightly different formations. But in the end, there's not a huge amount of adaptation that he needs to do. He also plays in the Premier League, so it's not like he has to adapt to a new league. He knows the league. It's just a step up maybe from smaller club to a big club. There's not a huge adaptation that Caicedo needs to do. Whereas, say Vlahovic did come in as a striker, he has to get not only used to a new system, he has to get used to a new league, and the aspect of going from a club like Juventus, who currently isn't a big club, to a club like Chelsea, who is a big club. So it's not the end of the world. I think people just need to calm down on Caicedo. If you want to moan about the striker, be my guest. I still think that situation is calm because I think Chelsea are assessing their options in a very poor market. Chelsea can moan about Fofana, that's fine. But Caicedo, we just need to calm down. That is going to happen, and we're just panicking for nothing.
Well, folks, I don't think I've ever heard Matt speak so much in my life, so passionate about his opinion. So fair play to him. And everyone else tuning in, like the video, man. Eric agrees with you, Matt.
Well, thank you, Eric.
PD is saying, why is this clown on the cost? But look, equal opinions. I love it. Love to see it. Feroz, let us know your thoughts on this tweet that you shared to me about minerals. What do you think he's trying to say here, man?
Well,
no, he's not here. He's not here. The fraud's not here. The fraud 17. He said.
No. Sorry. I was on mute. I was laughing like this is funny, man.
Why did you send me this? Why did you send me this?
Because just, bro, whether you love him or hate him, he's entertaining. But I'm not saying it's about you, but I don't know, man. Because you did say after all, like, we're gonna win the league and stuff. But let's see what happens.
Let me read it one more time. Hang on, let me read it one more time. Look at you all. You didn't want to drink the minerals. Instead, you're getting cement. Fridges and PR happy meals for not being work. How is the we're winning the league getting top 4 in our squad? Is so much better going. I don't think it's to me. I think he's saying it in general. I don't think
fair enough. But I have my shovel out, so don't worry about that.
Sorry. Say again.
I have my shovel with me though.
Fuck your shovel. Anyway, guys, I need to swear for a few minutes. Feroz, drop some questions in for Matt, man. Matt, I know you're all hyped up. You're excited about Chelsea. You're the most positive fan right now in the fan base. I don't know how. I'm really frustrated. But, each to their own. Big up, man.
Do you guys think Jackson is going to be that guy? Like, you guys think he's going to deliver?
I haven't seen enough of him, so he's a bit of an unknown commodity. And for me, I'm more intrigued about how Jackson's going to do. I think it's quite funny how 3-4 weeks ago, everyone was hyping him up to be this next big thing. He's the new striker, blah, blah, blah. And then now we're maybe not getting another striker. Now it's maybe just Brozier and Jackson. Suddenly everyone's going, oh, Jackson's just a kid. He's not unproven, blah, blah, blah. It's again, this is the thing of you can't have it's not one. You can't have both. It's one or the other. You can't flip opinions so quickly. I think it would be better to have another striker because it means the pressure is not completely on Jackson to succeed. Yep. With Brozier coming back from an injury again, you got a bit more pressure on Jackson. But I'm intrigued to see how he will do. From the little clips and bits that I've seen, I like the style of player. I do think La Liga players, as long as they can cope physically, generally they do work in the Premier League. And I think he, from what I've seen, looks quite physical despite what people say. He looks quite thin, but he does look quite physical even for his size. And I think sometimes it's not about how big you are, it's how you use your weight. And I think he uses it quite well from what I've seen in different clips. But I'm just interested to see how he will do. I think I understand Chelsea's point of not just going in for any striker that's available at the moment because the striker market is just rubbish this summer, apart from a Harry Kane that is realistically not available because he's a Tottenham player. Osimhen, who's going to be worth 180 million euros, which I just think is stupid to pay right now. And Lautaro Martinez, who's been a big bottler in big games. at the World Cup, and many other games has proved it. You've got Vlahovic, who again hasn't played well for 12 months at least. A kid playing in the Bundesliga for 100 million. Again, there's nothing really valuable in the market right now. 6 months' time, potentially an Ivan Toney might be there for a cut price. Again, that's got risks, his own risks to it. But
No, that's a good point.
I think it's smart that Chelsea are potentially just keeping their options open and not just spending a big chunk of money on someone that is quite risky. I think if they shouldn't just buy a striker for the sake of buying a striker because a few fans have put pressure on.
No, 100%. Tony would have been perfect. I feel like, that it's unfortunate what happened, but I totally forgot about the whole Tony situation. Because obviously we are linked with them. So maybe that's why we sort of went for the Jackson approach. And you're right. Obviously, realistically, getting someone like Osimhen is really, really tough because of the ridiculous price point. But, just the market in general is just so crazy, especially for like those sort of positions. Actually, not just those sort of positions in general. The market right now, like even for a defender, central defender, or like a midfielder, which is why we're like sort of overpaying for Caicedo, but we have to because of how inflated the market is right now. But that's a good point, which is why it's weird, right? Like, even though I want the club to do business as soon as possible so they can sort of join in for preseason and whatnot. But I don't even know myself, like, which players we should get. It's so weird and tricky. But
that's the thing. I mean, me and Carlito are having this argument on the pod because he was insisting that we have to get a striker and we have to get a striker to challenge for the league. And I said, well, what striker right now that's available is going to do that for us? Because I don't think anyone bar Harry Kane does that. Even Osimhen, to a point, there is risks to that.
No, true.
And that's the thing. I think most importantly, we can't have another striker that fails.
Yeah.
Jackson's not so bad because again, you're not spending a ridiculous amount of money for him. So if he doesn't shine, even with the market inflation, you could probably get a similar price for him if you were to ship him back off.
No, that's true. That's true for sure.
I think with all the big money signings, they haven't not a lot of them actually work. Most of the signings we actually work are the ones that are actually a little bit lower, not necessarily as much hype to them. So that's why I just think give Jackson a chance. And you've got Broja, you've got Nkuku, you have got options, even if it is for 6 months before you eventually bring an Ivan Toney in, or next summer the striker market might be more flourishing. There might be more people available. Markets are very dynamic and change very quickly. So I think Chelsea are just looking at it. Likewise with the goalkeeper. Yeah. They don't want to pay 80 million for Mike Meinegan. Onana clearly wanted to go to United, play with Eric Ten Hag, so that's fine. And then other than that, again, there's not really many goalkeepers about. So Chelsea are looking and go, well, we're not going to spend ridiculous money like Keppra to get a goalkeeper. So, I don't think, and too rightly, that they want to pay ridiculous amount of money for a goalkeeper because I think there's only, while they are important to this aspect, they're not as important as other players. So I wouldn't want to spend ridiculous money on a goalkeeper. So they're looking at the market and going, what can we get? What can't we get? And let's see what we can get next summer, and not just waste money. Because especially if we are now having our sponsorship halved, we then can't then go and spend ridiculous amount of money because that's money that's already been taken away financially, especially for financial fair play. So we've got to be a bit more careful of how we spend our money. And we don't want a situation next summer where we're having to ship off another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players because they're not good enough.
No, well said. Well said. Obviously, you don't want to overpay for players like we have been for the last few seasons. And the whole goalkeeping situation, it surprised me, to be honest with you, because I generally thought, obviously there are a lot of weeks left to change that, but it looks like we are going to be sticking with Keppra because no club would pay that much for him, and we cannot get a goalkeeper for a decent price. But Pochettino, the thing is, every time he goes on podcasts and stuff, he always says it's not like 4-3-3. He always goes by 1-4-3-3 or 1-4-2-3-1, and they go why do you always say one? And he's like, the goalkeeping position is one of the most important positions. just for the style of play and stuff. Like him, Pep, and obviously Ten Hag are really adamant in terms of like the keeper. So I don't know, like it's sort of surprised me. That was the only reason why I was like really, really pushing for the narrative of, oh, you know what, we are going to get a goalkeeper for sure. And obviously that's not happening. But at the same time, the market is just absurd right now. So it sort of like makes sense in a weird way.
And I think with the difference between, I think, players like Keppra compared to players like De Gea and Lloris that seem to be being moved on and frozen out from their respective clubs is, I think the importance and the evolution of a goalkeeper right now is the ability to play out the back and play that kind of style. And I think while there are many faults of Keppra, I think his ball playing ability is quite good. It's not the best in the world. He's not like Ederson putting sweet balls all the way to the strikers every 5 minutes, but he is quite good with his feet. So I think in that aspect, I don't think Keppra, there's a problem with Keppra in that way. It's more some shot stopping abilities, coming out for crosses, and potentially long shots. But I think Pochettino might be looking at it and going, well, if we can get a stable defensive midfield in front of him and limit the amount of chances that's shot a goal, then naturally you're limiting the amount of mistakes Keppra can make. So I think he's looking at that as if we can sort out the midfield. Obviously now we've got to go and look at centre back potentially. If we sort out centre back and sort out the outfield positions, the fullbacks, having 2 good fullbacks that can play that are not injured, it limits the amount of mistakes Keppra can physically do, and hopefully it means that he's not got a problem in terms of making loads of mistakes. And let's be honest, Keppra didn't have a bad season last season. I thought, okay, a couple of mistakes here and there, but I think this is one of the better seasons we've had from Keppra. So I think while ideally you'd like to do everything in one window, it's just not possible, again, with the amount of deals that physically having to do. I think it is a 2 or 3 window process to get us to be that top team. I think even my expectations for this season is try and go for top 4, or potentially it's now top 5 of this new Champions League. I haven't actually got clued up with the format yet, but try and go for that. But if we're in Europa League, it's not completely the end of the world because we're not the finished team yet. We won't be. I think people who think we're going to go on and smash and win the league, it's just a bit, you're setting yourself up for failure a little bit, because when you come from a position of 12, that's a huge, obviously we did it with Conte, but it was different. I think there was different scenarios with Conte. It wasn't the fact that we were a bad team. We just had a very bad situation that caused us to go far down. Conte's picked a good team, had no Champions League, 1 game a week, and the fact that there wasn't a lot of good teams around at that time. We luckily pushed back and got the league. I don't think that's right this time. There are a lot of good teams have improved. Obviously, Man City are already a fantastic team. Arsenal have gone and spent the money for once and actually really improved. Liverpool are retransforming. Man United are trying to improve in certain aspects. I think they've still got some problems that they need to solve. And I think like us, striker-wise, I still think they're going to struggle. They're looking like they're going to go get this Haaland, Horshund or whatever his name is. But I don't think that's going to solve their problems completely. So I think that Man United and Chelsea might be in a similar situation where they will fix some of their problems, but not all of their problems, because it's not available in the market at the moment.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's weird because, like, the whole thing, in terms of like my optimism kicking in and hearing like a few like players currently saying, oh, the way the club and the players, the way they're training right now, it's ridiculous. It's similar. Obviously, it's different in terms of like the playing style and whatnot, but in terms of fitness, it's as brutal as Conte's training and stuff. And like players look a lot more fitter and are slowly getting there to the level that they're supposed to be. So that's sort of exciting, and that's making me go like, you know what, fair enough. Top 5 should be a realistic target for us, despite the atrocious season last year. And us winning the league, obviously, like the quality of teams that are there right now, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough in terms of all that. But it'll be interesting to see how this one is going to go about, because it feels like a wild card almost. Pochettino, I think he's a really good manager. The current crop of players are young and will be excited to be managed by him. and they're going to be given chances and stuff. Our playing style, I think, will be a lot better, and fans will be much more realistic and patient because of what happened last season. So it'll be interesting to see how all this unfolds. But I think we should be fine. But regarding like challenging for the league, I'm going to be super, super pessimistic and realistic and say, unfortunately, I don't see that happening unless, we get like a few really good players. But yeah, I agree with you. It'll be like a top 4, top 5 finish. Big up, Srinath. Appreciate what you're saying. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask us. How do you feel about this whole situation with obviously Wesley getting injured like really badly? Like, do you think we should like pull the trigger? Even though we did touch on this, like regarding like the market being really bad, but do you think we should really like be cautious and just get a really, really experienced player, someone like Kimpembe? I know Kimpembe is not like a rumor transfer, but I'm just saying, like, should we get a name or should we just be patient and stick with Chalobah and see what to do?
Yeah, I think obviously it's not been something that Chelsea have probably even thought about exploring because centre back has never been something we've been particularly looking at. Obviously, that I think you're always going to be interested in someone like Vardiol when they come on the market potentially, just to see what happens. Because when the best players come on the market, you're always going to have a look and see if there's a chance of you going there. But I think apart from that, we haven't really looked deeply into any centre backs, bar young kind of loan army multi-club model centre backs. So I think it's unfortunate that it's happened now, and we only have 6 weeks to scout, find the right targets, come up with a list that Poch and the board agree with, and then go for it. I think obviously that I don't think they're going to. Again, they don't. I think they don't want to spend ridiculous amount of money on centre back replacement. So I think they'll look in the market, see what's going on. I think any Chalobah exit will be paused until the end of the window. If they do get someone in, they might look and go, right, Trevor, we'll let you go. Obviously, that will help bring back some money to pay for that centre back, and then we can still not have to compromise on other deals. But again, it's hard. There's not a lot of centre backs that are definitely available and for cheap prices. Normally, if they're available, that means they're going because they're not good enough. Otherwise, this not late in the window, but by the time we scout and properly get into contact, it will be later in the window. That's when clubs are going to be more desperate to keep them because they haven't got replacements. There are options. I think there are many options in terms of smaller backup centre backs, and I think that will probably be what Chelsea would want to do. I don't see a harm of going with Thiago Silva and Colwill, Thiago Silva and Badiashile, Colwill, and then having someone there, maybe they look to go for a younger another young centre back, or potentially a stopgap, more older.
Imagine we get Maguire.
Yeah, I don't think I cannot see us.
No. Realistically, I see that like as a last resort. But no, I agree with you. I'm just scared going by like our injury record and stuff. I'm just scared like another important player, hopefully not gets injured, and then it'll just be really tough for us. But no, like we should sort of assess the situation and obviously see what happens, because this will benefit Colwell. Like, it sort of like, it's brutal for me to say that, but it's going to benefit Colwell.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm glad Thiago also is staying for 1 more year, because it would have been a disaster. I was saying in hindsight, it would have been better, like if you would have kept Koulibaly, obviously, but now it is what it is.
It's the unfortunate thing of you let Koulibaly go, and now this happens. But I was saying a few weeks ago, this kind of new kind of fitness regime that we're going to do. This pre-season would be the last time we're going to see a lot of injuries, because obviously when you're at such a low level in terms of being undertrained and then suddenly doing all this fitness, there are going to be people that break down. Obviously, it's now the thing with Fofana is with an ACL, that's not so much an undertraining thing. My question would be, well, how has he got injured in pre-season with an ACL rupture? Because normally that is maybe he's gone up for a header in training or in a little match ball situation and landed awkwardly. That's the only thing I can think of. Or I wonder whether, because there wasn't many training pictures of Fofana, thinking about it, whether he's done something stupid while he was on break, come back, and then tried to play through it and not. And that's cool. Obviously, we don't know, but we're never going to find out how he got injured. But that would be something I'd kind of want to know, because it's very strange to rupture an ACL in pre-season. It's not something that normally happens. Especially when we haven't even played a match yet. If it was in the pre-season match, say against Wrexham or Brighton, and he's gone up for a header, and you can see what's happened, and it's an unfortunate thing. But to do it in a training session, it doesn't make sense to me, and that's why I'm a bit skeptical of what has actually happened. But it does unfortunately pose some questions of Wesley Fofana, because I like him, but if now he's got two dodgy knees, it's now really getting to a point of can we? It's not necessarily mean can we trust you at all in the team, but it really cements the fact of it will probably be Badiashile, Carwell, and then Fofana's going to have to be a backup, because there is that lack of potential trust. And will he come back the same player?
No, it's crazy. He's missed around 470 games since 2019. That's a horrific stat.
I mean, it's unfortunate because of the broken leg. That's nothing you can do about that. You break a leg. It's one of those things. But it's the knee injuries now that are just suddenly coming after. It's that.
Exactly. It's brutal situation, because obviously when you're looking at it, Badiashile and then him, being fit for the season, I was excited, and now both of them. Well, his is a lot more serious. Obviously, he's going to be gone for a long time, unfortunately. But, I guess in a weird way, better now than, when the season starts, because that would have been, the biggest disaster, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, at least we've got some sort of time to try and figure this out. I think Serenaf's made a point about Cucurella potentially playing left centre-back, playing right centre-backs. I don't know whether he means Cuckoo in a back four, or whether he's suggesting go to a back three, because this is the last thing I want Poch to do is to go back to a back three. So add Cucurella in there. No, we know Poch wants to play a back four.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's still fluid whether it's a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. But we've been having these problems each year. We say we're going to go back to a back four, and then something happens and we have to revert to a back three. I think we know we want to transfer to the back four because we feel it's a bit more stable, and especially with the players we're now bringing in, it will be stable. So I just don't want to go take a step back just because there's been an injury. I'd rather us go into the market and figure it out rather than shifting players into positions again. Because Cucurella can play there, but it doesn't mean he's good there and good enough at a top level to play there. So I'm hoping that's not the situation that we end up doing.
Yeah, I was thinking Sadiq. I mean, I feel like, if you get a good offer for him, fair enough. But if he stays, cool. But I cannot have him as a back four. I just don't trust him in a back four. So I feel like I just feel like it's so weird, this whole center back situation as well, because Koval wants a lot of minutes, and then all these players have left, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens regarding that. But the club, I'm sure, will sort it out. Are you hoping we make any more signings that are you adamant in us getting anyone, or besides the obvious Caicedo, or are you totally cool if you just get Caicedo, or maybe another potentially young player, I would say Jackson, and then wait for obviously Tony? Or do you think we should really get experienced players? Because this is a whole debate that's been going on for the last like day or so, like on social media. Like we need experienced players.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like our squad doesn't have experienced players. I mean, we have Thiago Silva, who is, in terms of experience, one of the most experienced players
Mm-hmm.
currently playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have Sterling, who has won multiple league titles, a wealth of experience in him, and has played at the top level. You have multiple people that, yes, they're not experienced in terms of age. I think the problem is people sometimes look at age and go, well, they're only 23, 24, but it's about how much game time they've had. And if you can have 20-year-olds that have played 50 men's level games, and you can have a 20-year-old that's played 200, 300 men's level games.
Mm-hmm.
You look at someone like Angel Gabriel, he's 19,
Yeah.
he's already played 100, it's in the Brazilian league, but he's already played
Mm-hmm.
100 games at a full professional level. So he is in the game time experience. He has played, actually, some of these players have played quite a lot. I would like some sort of experience coming in. That's why when I've looked at the more, if we want to get another winger or another attacking midfielder in, this is why I've looked at Dybala in a player that is experienced.
Yeah.
Is not going to cost you anything in terms of the risk. Even if he does get some injuries, he's still there as your experienced role, and your 10 million, 12 million pounds is nothing in this football game right now. As we've kind of mentioned, goalkeepers are going for 80 million pounds, 80 million euros. So getting a good talented player in Dybala for 12 million pounds, which I think will be something that happens at the end of the window, because it's something that is not necessarily something you need to spend a lot of time on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it will be there in case we don't get other people, which will seem like a panic buy, but I think it's a planned panic buy, if that's the right word to use. It's planned to be there just in case. That's why I don't mind getting Ryan Shirky in, but
Yeah.
the one thing that I don't really like about Shirky too much is he's not the best off the ball worker.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone keeps saying, "Oh, we'll play him on the right as a backup to Madueke," but Laurent Blanc, the reason he put him in the number 10 was because he didn't work enough getting back. And when we've got people like Gusto and James, who are fullbacks that really want to push up, you need to rely that your winger potentially has the idea of, like a William, that is able to track back. And if Shirky's not able to do that, I don't want him. As a number 10, I don't mind. But again, I think I look at it and go, well, I'd rather spend the 12 billion on Dybala and then use that rest of that money that would have gone to Shirky for a centre back, either, or for what I think potentially more important is another centre mid. Again, the person who would be available, I don't know. I quite like Onana from Everton. I think the problem is the price. I don't want to. For me, it's Onana at a certain price. If it goes over that price, it's not worth it. But I think he would be a great backup option, and the one thing we do kind of lack, even with Caicedo coming in, would be that physical element. Onana, when I remember watching him when Lille comes to play at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League, and he's like a basketball player with the height of him, and he towers over people and just. I mean, I remember it was Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who doesn't normally get barged to the floor, and he just barged Ruben over like it was nothing. And I'm like, I've never seen anyone do that. So I think he would be a good addition, but again, it's got to be at the right price. Romeo Lavia is the same thing; would be a good addition.
I think the Lavia is too expensive.
Yeah. And even I think Everton quoted at first 55 million for Onana, which was like, no, you paid 35 million for him last summer. And I wouldn't say he's improved that much to slap 20 extra million on that. So I think, again, we've got to look at the right players. And
you're right.
It's hard. It's a hard situation.
It's so weird. Yeah. And Srinath, sorry, I get what you're saying. His natural position is a central CM, like Lewis Hall. But Pochettino an hour ago confirmed in his press conference that he's going to be playing left back. Like, he has him for that role, like fighting with the others who are, Cucurella, Ben Chilwell, Maatsen as well. But
I
he
think
took
in that case, I think Lewis Hall just needs to go out on loan then.
yeah, no, like,
Because-
and he took Hall's name first. He's like, no, he's like, I'm really excited to see how Hall is, and he's gonna play left back.
Because the
So
problem is, I look at it and go, well, Chilwell's first choice.
yep,
I would personally put Maatsen over Cucurella, but I think Cucurella will naturally be a bit more of a second choice. Maatsen's then third, and then I think Lewis Hall's fourth. Purely off the fact that he hasn't. Again, the difference between Maatsen and Hall, they're not. Obviously, Maatsen's a little bit older,
yeah,
but Maatsen's had so much more of a wealth of playing time in
yeah.
that experience, so then he's automatically ahead of him on the curve.
hmm
So I think it's a hard situation.
Yeah, I wish one of them was a right back, even though we have two good right backs now. But obviously having four left backs is like too much. But at the same time, I think he may play like in the midfield role as well. When given minutes. But
I think the only thing about Hall, which I think maybe Poch wants to try, is this kind of Poch style left back that drifts into midfield, because obviously he can play centre mid, so it's not. I don't think that would be unnatural for him to go from left back and drift into midfield. But
exactly.
we'll have to see how it goes.
Wait, why are they calling you Prince Sadiq? What is going on?
Big up everyone, man. Apologies for me disappearing. I have a lot of work issues at the moment. So big up Matt for looking after and Ferro's looking after, even though it's off camera. I'm not going to act like I heard anything. I was away from the desk. So
don't worry, we were just waffling. Do not worry, you didn't miss a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, like the video, man. I don't know if you guys want to stay on. I was gonna go wrap up and go home, Mr. Matt J. Bull.
The thing is, there's nothing to talk about, man. That's unfortunate.
That's what I'm saying. Are you telling me? Make a stream.
No. I mean, obviously today, I shouldn't say we got lucky, but obviously the horrific news was something we had to talk about, right? With the injury situation.
True.
And then obviously, like, we could have sort of, I feel like, touched on tomorrow's game, which we did.
Fair enough.
But like then again, who knows what the lineup is gonna be and all? Like, I think right now an open training session is going on, if I'm not mistaken, like in a few hours.
Yeah.
Maybe that will sort of give us more insight regarding like who plays and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, like I feel like there's not a lot to talk about, unfortunately, besides the obvious, like Caicedo coming in potentially, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, look,
once we see the Wrexham game and potentially the Brighton game as well, I think that's when we can really start talking properly about what's going on, what we can see. Because at the moment, it's just talking about transfers that are happening behind the scenes and not a lot is being said to anyone. I'd love to be a fly. We'd all love to be a fly on the wall in that room at the moment, but it is what it is. I'm sure we will get news soon.
Soon for sure, people. I want to thank everyone for coming on. Like the video. Ethan Ampadu, Matt's favorite player, has officially left Chelsea.
Oh yeah,
I'm so glad. I'm so glad he's left.
But I'm going to leave it here because I've got very, very low battery as well.
Wait, before you leave, I just want to ask you one thing. Are you excited that Lukaku is back in Cobham right now? Are you excited?